you have an idea that you really think will work. It's going to change your life. But there's one small problem. It doesn't. And so you don't know whether to keep trying or to cut your losses and move on. Well, this is a question that has plagued mankind ever since we first started trying to do stuff. And if you can figure out how to answer it, it could well be the difference between success and failure. So let's talk about how to avoid quitting when you're failing. So first of all, I need you to answer this question honestly. What did you want to be when you grew up? Come on! I need some answers. Okay, now, I bet some of those answers were things like astronaut or rock star or professional eater of snacks. But if you were like me, you probably had some more grounded aspirations as well. Like I wanted to be an archaeologist because Indiana Jones was cool, even though I knew absolutely nothing about the subject and still do UNT. But then you grow up and instead you find yourself sitting in an office, surrounded by beige walls and beige cardigans who politely smile while discussing things, like extended depreciation schedules and EBITDA margins, which is why you should be extremely suspicious of anyone who talks about EBITDA margins unless they in accounting or something. Point being, most people have goals that they want to achieve, and sometimes these goals get derailed. And the question is, what do you do next? Well, in order to answer that, we need to figure out why you're failing in the first place. Now, there are 2 reasons why you're failing. 1, your idea sucks. Or 2, you suck. Let's talk about no. 1, the idea sucks. Most people quit because their idea sucks and they don't realize it. This is probably the hardest thing to admit to yourself. After all, ideas are kind of like children. They're the product of our hopes and dreams, and the more time we invest into them, the more emotionally involved we become. So it can be hard to admit that maybe our precious little baby is going to grow up to be the next Steve Jobs or Beyonce. That's like saying you wasted 30 years trying to get where you are today. Yeah, you got it bad. You just got to take it easy. What you need is some perspective. If you've been at this for a while and you're not seeing any progress, it might be time to make a change. I'm not saying that you have to give up completely, but maybe you need to pivot or try something new. But here's the thing. Even if you do decide to change course, you're still gonna feel like you wasted some time. That's just the nature of the beast. So you might as well get over it quickly and move on to the next thing. Remember, you're only wasting time staying in a bad relationship. That sounds like some relationship advice. Who wrote this? Now let's talk about reason. No. 2, you suck. Sometimes the problem isn't your idea. It's you. Maybe you're not good at whatever it is you're trying to do, and that's why you're failing. I don't know. Maybe you tried to learn basketball, and you just weren't very good at it. Or maybe you tried to build a business, and you just didn't have the skills needed to make it work. The truth is, most of us aren't very good at most things. That's just how it is. We're all limited by our skill set and our knowledge. So what do you do when you realize that you suck? Well, the answer is obvious, right? You just get better. It's not that easy. There are 2 ways to get better. You can either read a book or watch a YouTube video about it. Or you can actually go out and do the thing. For example, if you want to get better at basketball, you could read a book about it. Or you could practice. But here's the thing. Watching YouTube videos and reading books is a lot easier than actually doing the thing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it because you should, but I'm saying that it is hard to be enough to recognize that you re-batted something and then go out and actually do the thing that you re-batted. In fact, most people would rather die than admit that they suck. So the real question is, are you willing to suck? Because that's what it takes to get good. Okay, so you figured out that the reason you're re-failing is because you suck, or maybe it's a combination of both. You suck, and your idea sucks. So what do you do next? Well, this is where things get difficult because there are no clear-cut answers. This is one of those situations where you have to use your best judgment and make a decision based on all the information that you have available to you. Obviously, if you have a team of people depending on you to make a decision, the stakes are higher because you're not just letting yourself down, you're letting other people down too. That's why it's important to be aware of the sunk cost fallacy. This is a cognitive bias that causes us to continue investing in something simply because we've already invested a lot of time, money, or effort into it. Sunk costs are like the emotional energy that you've spent thinking about this project or idea. Just because you've invested so much of yourself into it doesn't mean that you have to keep investing in it. You have to weigh the costs and benefits of continuing to pursue this goal and decide whether it's worth it. There are 3 questions you need to ask yourself in order to determine whether you should stick it out or cut your losses and move on. Number 1, is this within the realm of possibility? Ask yourself this question honestly. Is it possible that your idea could actually work? If the answer is no, then you need to move on. Don't waste any more time trying to make something happen that's never going to happen. If the answer is yes, then ask yourself question number 2. How much longer are you willing to keep trying? Be honest with yourself here. How long can you keep going without seeing any progress before you need to move on? If you don't have an answer to this question, then you need to ask yourself question number 3. How much does it matter to you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to you that this works out? If the answer is anything less than a 10, then you need to move on. Why waste your time on something that doesn't really matter that much to you? These questions might be difficult to answer, but they're necessary if you want to avoid wasting your time. By asking yourself these questions, you'll be able to determine whether you should stick it out or cut your losses and move on. After all, life is full of ups and downs, and we need to be prepared to pivot when things are unworking out. Hey, now that you've made it to the end of the video, I'm gonna assume that you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the subscribe button below. I promise to see you next time. I promise. Hey! You're still here. Are you still listening? Okay, now I'm gonna tell you a secret. All the stuff I just told you in this video, it's all in here. Seriously, go ahead and check it out. I promise you won't regret it. All right, bye.